They're here, they're bloody here, finally. Beast Hunters, Bonesplitterz, Savage Orks, no matter what you want to call them, they're finally here, and I'm really looking forward to getting these on the table. So, another My First Deck video with the warband I've been most excited about. The minute we saw the icon on the roadmap, it was pretty obvious to me that there was going to be Bonesplitterz, and if you watched my Pictures for Diachasm video, these were one of the guys that are one of the warbands that I wanted to see, and as a Bonesplitterz player, we got new models finally, which is fantastic. So we'll cut straight to it. For these guys to inspire, they love to get hold of that primacy token. That juicy primacy token is what they are obsessed with. And I've built my deck around that, quite simply put. So if you're not familiar, if you haven't kind of seen what the inspire mechanic is, the boss needs to be alive, and if you get the primacy token, you get to choose who to inspire. And you want to inspire these guys. They're not a they're not like a warband that can get away with not inspiring. As you can see, the differences are subtle, but they're quite important. Extra dice, extra damage, cleave. The leader gets +2 damage if the target is adjacent to them, which is quite filthy. But I'd imagine the dad bod of the Orks does have a big target on his back, because you need him alive to be able to inspire. So with that in mind, obviously, like I said, I have lent heavily into the primacy token, possibly a bit too much. We'll have a look and we will see. We will start off with the objectives. So a nice mixture of new and old cards in there. 3 of their own cards. I like to have more than that, particularly with the newer warbands, but alas, this is how it's kind of turned out for me. First one, here we go. Nice Orky named card. Simply Waaaaaaagh in the flavour text. What's not to like about that? A Surge and a Hybrid. Score this immediately after an activation. If each surviving friendly fighter is in enemy territory, or each surviving friendly fighter has 1 or more charge tokens. Lovely old job. I'm going to be playing these guys aggressively. And it's just surviving. It's not, at least 3 or anything like that. Great stuff. Eye of Gorka Morka. Duel. Score this in an end phase if you have the primacy token and your leader holds an objective. I like the card. It's going to be. I think it's going to be tough to score, particularly in a best of 3. But with the way that I will kind of aim to play them, I think it will be easy to score. Next up, Smash 'em. Score this in an end phase if 2 or more enemy fighters are out of action and you have the primacy token, or 3 or more enemy fighters are out of action. And again, I'm going to be playing aggressively. I'm going to be leaning into the primacy. I hope that's quite an easy 2 glory to score. Awesome Predator. You have the primacy token. I plan on kind of keeping hold of that, or 1 or more surviving friendly fighters have a 4+ attack. Literally in there because I basically hope to have the primacy token permanently shoved up my jumper through this whole game. Bold Deeds, basically the same as Smash 'em, really. Just don't need to have the primacy token. So there are 2 or more enemy fighters out of action, and each surviving friendly fighter is in enemy territory. So just a bit further forward. No need for the primacy. Dominant Display. Each surviving friendly fighter is in enemy territory, and you have the primacy token. Again, for 2, you can probably start to see the flavour of this warband that I'm hoping to play. Primal Display. Another Surge. Score this immediately after a friendly fighter's attack action. If that attack action took the target out of action, and you have the primacy token. So again, nice and aggressive. Surge of aggression, I mean, be stupid not to bring this. Gain the primacy token. Get a glory. Swelling Pride, score this immediately if you would gain the primacy token. But you already have the primacy token. So, with so many ways of being able to score the primacy token now. I mentioned in a previous video that I really wanted the game to kind of make the primacy token like a hot potato. And it is now. And Swelling Pride, I think, should be quite easy for me to score. Rested Dominance, score this immediately after you gain the primacy token from an opponent, or an activation if your warband holds an objective that another warband held at the start of the round. That's going to be a tougher one to score, but again, I felt like I had to take it because I'm so heavily leaning into primacy. And then 2 essential cards, Conquest. You know, that speaks for itself if I'm playing aggressively and getting up in your grill. And then Strong Start, again, if I'm playing aggressively, getting a double glory for getting the first kill in the round kind of makes sense to me. So off the top, kind of looking at that, that's, if I was to score absolutely everything, that's 16 glory from objectives. To score all of those cards, chances are I'm going to need to have the primacy token, so that's 19. I mean, for an aggro warband, that's quite a strong base. So, yeah, I'm quite happy with the objectives there. Now, the Gambit. This is where I went a bit primacy silly. I think all but one are a primacy card, and that one is tracking. Just a way to give myself a little bit of extra movement. I've got 3 hunters, so it can someone can either go 5 or 6, depending on if they're inspired. And then we go into the primacy stuff. So, the Big Waaaaaaagh, +1 dice to friendly fighters range 1 attack actions. If you have the primacy token, when you play this card, this effect persists until you lose the primacy token, or until the end of the round. So, yeah, that's a nice card. The Great Stomp. Push each friendly fighter up to 1 hex towards the nearest enemy fighter. It's great if I'm going to be playing aggressively. Never Tiring. +1 move to friendly fighters in the next activation if you have the primacy token. When you play this card, this effect again persists until you lose the primacy token or until the end of the round. So, again, the primacy token, it's like catnip for the little buggers. If you've got it, then there's lots of ways to be able to improve your guys. Primal Brutality. Pick one, gain the primacy token, or discard the primacy token. If you discard the primacy token, choose 1 friendly fighter with no charge tokens. The chosen fighter makes 1 range 1 or range 2 attack action. Then give the chosen fighter 1 charge token. I'm pretty certain I've said this before. Getting a kill out of kind of the standard activation is really good and really strong. And if you just have to sacrifice the primacy token for essentially possibly getting it back as well in kind of like the same play, this card, I think this card's really good. It's going to be one of those ones that when you play it, the opposition player just going to be like, balls, because if you play it in their power step, what they've probably been building up to for that turn may well just get completely kicked to the curb. Primal Cunning. Choose 1 friendly fighter, then if you have the primacy token, you can give the primacy token to an opponent, push the chosen fighter 1 hex, or up to 3 hexes if you gave the primacy token to an opponent. So again, that's quite a good card. Makes the primacy token a hot potato. You know, if you're in a best of 3 and you know they've got underdog, and you just kind of chuck the primacy token back at them at the end, you can stop them scoring 2 glory and you can get yourself into a great position. Claim to Domination. At the end of the next activation, the player with the highest number of surviving fighters in enemy territory gains the primacy token. A really good card again. That's a hold on until the end of the round and yoink it. Basically, yoink the primacy token away at the end. Feign Strength. Gain the primacy token. If you have the primacy token at the end of the action phase, discard the primacy token. This effect persists until the end of the round. This is basically just to get someone inspired, score Surge of Aggression. You know, it's a good card for the Orks in particular, and it can unlock quite a few doors, really. Feign Weakness, basically the opposite. Play this only if you have the primacy token. Give the primacy token to an opponent and gain 1 spent glory point. Can technically give you like a 3 glory swing in a game if someone was expecting them to, if they were expecting to score underdog, and they don't score underdog, and you score a glory as well. Thrill of the Hunt. Reaction. Play this after a friendly fighter's attack action. That takes an enemy fighter out of action. You get the primacy token. Then pick one. Heal or push. So, because you can get the primacy token anyway when you get a kill with a couple of the Orks, this is kind of more for that push or for a little heal. I think this will probably be a card that I maybe change after playing this a few times, but it just kind of made sense for me to put it in there. Now we move on to the upgrades. More Orky themed upgrades in this one than universal ones. We'll start with the universal ones. All my restricteds are in here as well, which is quite interesting. But Strength of Terror, +1 dice to range 1 and range 2 attack actions. I mean, that means one of the guys inspired could potentially be chucking 5 dice, which is nice. Trophy Belt, for a hunter, so only can be put on 3 of the fighters, but gain 1 spent glory point when this fighter's attack action takes an adjacent enemy fighter out of action. Gain 1 unspent glory point instead if that target was a quarry. And then a couple of Mortis relics, the Gauntlet of Dominance and the Crown of the Dead for that reroll and +1 damage. And then those nice reactions have been able to push either an enemy fighter or a little bit of sneaky card draw in there. And then on to Dem Orc upgrades. Berserk Might. This fighter's range 1 and range 2 attack actions have knockback 1, +1 damage as well if I have the primacy token. I think that's really good. A bit of ball control, a bit of scary damage potentially as well. Green God's Glare. You can reroll 1 dice in this fighter's attack rolls for range 3+ actions. So you can only put this on 2 of the fighters. The leader and the bow guy, Dako. But on the leader, when the leader's inspired, they're a level 2 wizard, so they have that spell that they could use. And if you're adjacent, it's +2 damage. Or if you don't trust magic dice, you can chuck for Furies for +2 damage, which is at a 4 damage if you're adjacent. So yeah, I think that's quite a good card. It's quite a strong card in my opinion. Can cause a bit of mischief, and I think it's one of those ones that if you put it on a fighter, all of a sudden they possibly become a target priority that has to be dealt with instead of the opponent kind of continuing with their game plan. Killer Instinct. This one's for the Wolverine Orc. Range 1 attack actions have Cleave and Ensnare. Cutting through people on guard. But being on guard is such a common thing now. I think it's probably an essential tool to have in the toolbox for these guys. Power of the Beast. +1 wounds, +2 if you have the primacy token. I'm assuming if you have this and then you lose the primacy token and you've only got 1 wound left, you wither and die. So it's a bit of a risk to take. But +2 wounds on a 4 wound fighter. Good luck getting the primacy token off it if he's the last guy left. Spirit of the Beast. If you have the primacy token, when you give this upgrade to a fighter, that fighter is inspired. When you gain the primacy token, this fighter is inspired. This fighter is on guard while you have the primacy token. Yeah, that's so good. I think put it on the leader, and then you don't have to worry about inspiring him because you can inspire 2 people at the same time. Very nice. And then finally, Armour of Confidence, +1 defense if you have the primacy token. So I've gone very primacy heavy. I haven't had a chance to play these yet. Hopefully I'm going to have a game over the weekend. But yeah, let me know what you think. I've been really excited about this warband for so long now. And like the cards haven't disappointed. I just hope that I get to play them. The UK is kind of hopefully in a position where people are coming out of lockdown. Local stores are opening, which is going to be great. So I'm really, really looking forward to getting these on the table and getting them painted up in my red Waaaaaaagh scheme. But yeah, let me know what you think. How are you going to be playing them? I can't really see any other way other than kind of like full out attack. But let me know in the comments. Keep an eye out for some more videos over the next few days, and something interesting happening in the next few weeks too. Thanks for watching, stay safe and see you soon.